European Protest and Coercion is a web page undertaken at the University of Kansas and sponsored by the National Science Foundation and General Research Fund at the University of Kansas. The database includes all protest, or acts of dissent, and state repressive events with no size minimums or maximums. Protest can be seen as actions that show disapproval of particular policies or events, typically instigated by the government. Coercion can be understood as forcing someone or a particular group to do something against their will using threats and causing fear. Examples of events, of which there are 83 listed and defined in the database's codebook, are strikes, hunger strikes, occupations, vigils, assassinations, kneecapping, bombings, and gunfights. The web page contains protest and coercion data from the years 1980 to 1995 for 29 European countries, including Albania, Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, Cyprus, Czechoslovakia, Czech Republic, Denmark, Finland, France, FR Germany, GDR, Greece, Hungary, Iceland, Ireland, Italy, Luxembourg, Northern Ireland, Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Slovakia, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, and the United Kingdom. During this time span, some countries made the transition from a communist state to a democratic state. Furthermore, it can be speculated that 1980 to 1995 was chosen due to its correlation with the mass rise of newspaper readership. The database offers small descriptions of events, sometimes including the identification of the source of the events and the political pull or strength of the protesting groups. A website's strength of the database is that it includes a huge span of events because there are no specified minimum and maximums to limit its information. This means that it is less likely that an event will be left out of the data. So, the data may instead reflect news coverage, but not concrete numbers on events. For example, the government of the German Democratic Republic during the years prior to the fall of the Soviet Union in 1989 may have purposely withheld information from news reporters, or not allowed them to cover all protest events. News creators may deem an event more or less effective than it was, which would purposely highlight or ignore certain aspects. One last thing to be cognizant of is that the data is coded by day, but there are also sometimes multiple events per day, which can make the number of events higher than the number of days in a year. For the countries listed from Albania through Ireland, the average events per country from 1980 to 1995 was 3,107. The range of these events was 14,119, with France having the highest number of events to Cyprus having the lowest. For the countries listed from Ireland to the United Kingdom, the average events per country from 1980 to 1995 was 1,545 events. The range of these events was 6,441 events, with UK having the highest number of events and Luxembourg having the lowest number of events. Overall, the frequencies of protest and coercive events rose in every country during this 15-year time span. Another notable pattern was the general spike in events around the year 1990 in most countries. The extreme cases of both protest and state repressive events are listed below. This information may be useful for a quick look at who the most violent or non-violent country was during Europe at this time. From studying their numbers and patterns, we can perhaps predict the outcome of future events similar to these, which every country experiences. Highest frequency of dissent events, France lowest frequency of dissent events, Cyprus highest number of total challengers, Federal Republic of Germany, 74,084,911, lowest number of total challengers, Cyprus, 4,087,074, highest number of challengers arrested, Federal Republic of Germany, 66,674, lowest number of challengers arrested, Austria, 4, highest number of challengers injured, France, 7,855, highest number of state officials injured, Federal Republic of Germany, 2,300, lowest number of challengers injured, Finland, 1, lowest number of state officials injured, Finland, 0, Highest number of challengers killed, Albania, 136, highest number of state officials killed, France, 41, lowest number of challengers killed, Finland, 0, lowest number of state officials killed, Hungary, 0, Finland, 0, Czech Republic, 0. Further insights, states are more likely than challengers to be lethal. The majority of the time, during events, more challengers were killed than state officials, with the exception of Greece and Austria. However, only a very small percentage of protesters are ever arrested, when compared to the total amount of people participating. This leads me to believe that since the state lacks the resources to arrest challengers in order to discourage dissent, they resort to a higher escalation of methods, like injury and killing, to get their message across. In other words, physical infliction to challengers may indicate an inherent weakness of a state. 3 countries had 0 state officials killed, but only 1 country had 0 challenger deaths. Just because a country had a lower frequency of events did not mean that physical infliction was less prominent. Countries of low frequency sometimes took higher positions in the violence matrix, for example, Cyprus.